And I've been in the United States 11 years now, and I moved to a coastal city, Southern California, Oxnard, California. And when I arrived there, I did not know how to speak English. I'm still learning, as you can tell. But that have not stopped me to continue my dreams. I did not know how to dream, because all my life it was just to be married and have kids. So when I arrived to California, I had to make and decide my own path to be where I'm at now. And it has been very difficult, but yet not impossible. And the reason I'm here today is to tell you that no matter how old you are, or where you come from, or what language you speak, you can make a difference in this world. And as you probably, I don't know if your professor or share a little bit about my story about why I have received these awards, is because I got involved when I was 12 years old in trying to stop a multi-billion-dollar gas corporation in Oxnard, California. This corporation was going to bring a liquefied natural gas facility 40 miles off the coast and only affect the Latino community. And no one was doing anything because they were not aware of the effects of this company. The company was not taking the time to communicate the effects. It was just telling the people it's going to be a good investment, you should come, it's going to create jobs, but it never told that it was going to pollute over 280 tons of pollutants annually. This corporation changed the path of the project. It added 10 more miles to go around the richer communities and impact Oxnard, my community. And so through there, I got involved. I was trained to be a community organizer at that age. And I started organizing community. And it wasn't until I was 16 where we were able to stop. And from there, I started believing that I could make a difference. Before, I couldn't speak up. In my house, because of the culture I was raised with, I was not able to share how I felt. And I was not meant to do anything but being a wife. But things changed because I found a voice. Someone allowed me to find a voice by believing in me that I could make a difference. And so after 4 hard years of organizing people and collaborating, I was able to stop this corporation. And now my community has been empowered and they're doing amazing things. And since then, I've been going around different colleges and I guess Mexico and other countries to talk about my experience as a community organizer, but also as someone who believes that we can make a difference. And that's why I'm here today. I have been involved in the last 2 years in Proyecto Itzaes, the organization that the professor just mentioned. And the organization had changed my life. I went back to Mexico, and as you can tell, for me, it has been like a life-changing experience because it was me reflecting myself in a lot of faces of these kids that are there. I never thought of myself that I was going to be at Stanford. And now I'm close to graduate, and with the Gates Millennium Scholarship that pays 5 years of my undergrad, 2 years of master's, and 3 years of PhD. So I don't have to worry about paying school because I'm already in a scholarship. And I'm in one of the most amazing universities, but I never thought of that. It happened because I never stopped dreaming. And I want you to know that you can make a difference, and that this organization that I'm working now, it's allowing a lot of students to dream and to obtain an education. And for me, if I stayed in Mexico, I would never be here. Because the highest level of education that you could get is only to go to junior high. And after that, if you have the funds and if you have the means, you could go to the closest city to go to high school or to go to a university. And so for me to be able to give opportunities and the inspiration for kids to believe that they could go to school and that they could become a better person, it's allowing me to be here today and to share to you that we can make a difference, that each of you, by supporting, by giving at least $1 or as much as you could give, you could make a difference in a lot of these people's life. This is my 3rd time going back to Yucatan. I went last summer, and it changed my life. I went to implement a reforestation project, and then I came back with this new knowledge of the community and wanting to go back and give back. And because I saw a lot of the kids with dreams and not having the resources to do it. And so now I'm doing my honors thesis in there. I just finished doing my surveys and field work. I'm looking on how deforestation has affected the traditional ecological knowledge of these communities and the biodiversity of dry tropical forests within these two communities. And so I'm trying to give back to that community by doing this curriculum to give back to the school so that they could implement the traditional ecological knowledge in the school, because these kids, although are going to school, they're missing out on this traditional knowledge. And I want to make sure that they get both, and because they deserve it. And you guys could make that happen. If you could allow yourself to make that change, you could change anything in life. And I think one of the things that I would like to end my talk is with the quote of my role model, Cesar Chavez, who inspires me every day. And once a social change begins, it cannot be reversed. You cannot uneducate the person who has learned to read. You cannot humiliate the person who feels pride. And you cannot oppress the people who are not afraid anymore. We are the future, and the future is ours. Thank you once again, and si se puede.
Who helped you when you were younger and you were just getting started, trying to lead the community? Who kind of gave you the means and like the voice to do so?
So my story started in a beach cleanup day. I went to clean the beach because in Mexico I live close to a lagoon, and the beach was close to me this time, and I went to a beach cleanup day. And at that time I did not know how to speak English, and a couple, a Latino woman that has been being a community organizer and very active in that community told me, you could come and I'll explain to you what you need to do. And then she just put me under her shoulder, and she has been a mentor since then. And they have believed in me, but I have to tell you guys that the things that I have done is not by myself. I call them angels on my shoulders, because a lot of the things that I told you are very magical for me, and I still can't believe them. And always ask for help, and remember that you always depend on someone, and someone is depending on you. And so that you are not by yourself, and for us, if it wasn't because we worked together, we worked as a community, we couldn't done what we done, because you don't find every day a small community stopping the richest mining corporation in the world. And so always find someone. You're not by yourself.
So Erica, here's my question, is the project that we're raising funds for this year, Proyecto Itzayas, there are, I think it's 6,000 natives in the Yucatan there that we're teaching to read and providing them books. Tell us a little bit about that project.
One of the things that we do, I have worked with over 250 kids in the last 2 summers. And one of the things that we do is we offer literacy program, which means we take books, donations, people that donate books, we take them to Mexico, and the kids come every Friday or whenever they finish reading their books, and exchange the books and take them back. So a lot of these kids are learning how to read in the program, and we also, in addition to that, we offer summer school classes, which are the ones that I have been part of, because that's the only time I could be in Mexico. So the kids get tutoring in different subjects, and also learning the basic skills like reading and writing and math and things like that. So, you're making a big difference, because a lot of these kids, the only exposure to get to books is because people like you that make it happen. And one of the things that we're doing is sending more books, because the temperature there is very humid, and so the books that we have to buy them, they have to last, and they pretty much get destroyed really soon because of the temperature. It's very humid, and so we have to be buying books more often than usual because of the temperature of the state. But en español o en inglés?
She wanted to ask you, what was the hardest part about getting to where you got to? What was the hardest thing you had to overcome?
My hardest thing is that at age 15, I had to leave home because my dad had a heart attack a year after I came to the United States, and he had to move from a city. to Central Valley, to a cheaper area. And he basically told me because education for them wasn't a big thing. My mom only knows how to write her name and my dad doesn't know either. And he told me that if I wanted to go with him, I needed to drop out of school and start working to provide for the house. And if not, that I was on my own. So I stayed behind in Oxnard, and I was, I guess, around your age, working 2 jobs and going, taking AP classes, 8 classes. And I was still in sports. I was active. I was doing track, cross-country, soccer, swimming, and trying to save that community. And so if I was able to do it without speaking English with 2 jobs, and I'm sure that any of you could do it. And that was the hardest thing, but it has been the thing that had changed my life completely and has made me a better person, and that my family have now understand the importance of education.
All right, you guys, let's do it.